Hey everybody, just a quick note before we start this episode. We have a live show coming out.
Live show.
This October 17th at 8:30 p.m. at the Fat Black Pussycat, the Comedy Cellar Lounge in the back of the Fat Black Pussycat. We are doing a live version of Defend Your Movie. We've done a couple of these before, but this one's going to be really, really exciting. It's a great venue. We have a lot of fun things planned for the show. We have some guests involved. It's going to be a blast. So make sure you come out October 17th, 8:30. Fat Black Pussycat. You can go to ComedyCellar.com right now and make reservations. That's ComedyCellar.com. It's going to be blessed, right, Andy?
It's going to be great.
He's so excited. All right. Now enjoy the episode.
In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. A champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up in that, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your movie.
I know it is.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Wow. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Defend Your Movie. We had a Seinfeld reference before the episode even
I
started.
didn't even know we were rolling.
We were rolling. Alex did the thumbs up, and then you went, Oak's nice. Yeah, Oak's nice. This is nice. What is this? Oak? I think it's pine. What does he say?
Yeah, I think it's pine.
I think it's pine.
And goes, Kramer goes, pine's nice. He goes, yeah, pine's not bad.
That's the episode
Yeah.
where Kramer goes to the bank, and it says, if you don't get a hello from us, you get $100 in your bank
Right.
account. And he walks in, and the lady's like, hey.
The guy says, hey.
And he's like, you didn't give me a hello. He's like, I did. I said, hey. And he's like, that's not hello. And then the whole episode's about him going back.
You got a greeting. It started with an H-House $20 sound.
Stephen Root is the bank manager.
What a great character actor.
Oh, an unbelievable character actor.
What's his name in Office Space?
Yeah,
He's
that's
great.
right. He plays
Morton or some nerdy name.
Yeah. And then he's also in he's in a bunch of stuff. Like he's in a bunch of he does a bunch of Coen Brothers stuff too, right? Did he do
In the movie we're going to talk about today.
That's right. Yeah.
Sorry, not to get too Seinfeld. I think people on Twitter are like, just do a Seinfeld episode
I know.
already.
They did. They got mad.
So we got it out of the way early.
We are going to do a Seinfeld episode. We're going to do a bonus episode one week where what's up?
I had the
Alex?
idea of doing Seinfeld versus Curb.
Seinfeld versus Curb.
Yeah.
We could do a versus, or we could Seinfeld versus Curb. We could do. I feel like Norman would take Curb if we had Norman and List in here. With
Yeah.
I think List would probably take Seinfeld if I had to guess. I don't know, and Norman might take
I would
Curb.
take.
What would you take?
I don't know.
Yeah, I would take Seinfeld in a second.
I think
Seinfeld.
But I have personal reasons. But I lost my virginity to Seinfeld. That's why.
Larry David fucked my sister.
You know what? In relation to this, before we move on, I actually watched. I didn't watch the whole thing last night. I watched. Never saw it before. Most of Clear History.
Okay.
It's just
fun.
It's poorly done Seinfeld. It's just kind of like Seinfeld if those guys weren't writing
it's
it.
even poorly done Curb.
Poorly done Curb.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
same kind
more-
of thing. That's more the yeah.
It's fun though.
It is fun. It is.
I liked it.
It is good. But it's because it's like you don't get a lot of Larry David, and you want Larry David. Like, I want Larry David in anything. That
Big ensemble cast.
Yes.
A lot of names.
A lot of drop-ins.
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of drop-ins in Clear History. But yeah, so that's one of the movies that I watched
movies
this
you
week.
watched.
And then I also did a rewatch of I Heard Huckabees.
Ooh.
The minute I told Andy that, he goes, oh, like he just had
I'll tell the
bad.
audience. I saw it once in the theater, despised it, never saw it again.
Do you remember? Because when it came out, it was what, 2001 maybe?
It was maybe a little later than that, but around there. Yeah.
What was your reasons for despising it?
I just thought it was a bad movie. I know it had like a decent cast, but the plot was just kind of all over the map, and I just didn't care for it. I wanted to like it a lot more for what it seems on the surface. Real big letdown.
I watched it again for the first time in a long time and last night I was hanging out with Robert Dean, who's a comic and my roommate, and he loves it. He's seen it a million times. I watched it last night, and I'm like, oh, I don't like this movie as much as I thought.
Yeah.
When I was sitting there, I'm like, this is great, because I was laughing at some parts. I think I think it's supposed to be like this, just this absurd movie. I don't think it's David O. Russell who did it, who's Three Kings, and he did Silver Linings Playbook, and he did
yeah, a bunch of stuff.
a bunch of stuff. And Joy, right? That was him.
Joy.
Joy, and he has a bunch of stuff that's heralded.
Yeah,
heralded
he could be
movies.
hit or miss though. He's not one of
yeah.
my favorites by any means.
No,
I
he's
like
not.
Silver Linings. Joy, I think, is actually an alright movie too. But
Three Kings is a really underrated
Yeah,
movie.
Three
I
Kings
would
is
say,
good.
really good movie. But yeah, so this movie, though, when you say it's a bad movie, it's even bad like even effects wise, like graphics wise, like when they do all this, like it's an existential movie. The whole thing's about these two
Right.
forms of
Yeah, yeah.
existentialism that like are competing with each other in the lives of these dudes, and they're trying to. The one guy starts off with Jason Schwartzman, and also I think I was a big Jason Schwartzman fan at the
Yeah.
time this came out because Rushmore
Rushmore.
was maybe 2 years prior.
Yeah.
And he's great in that, and he's great in
course.
this, and he's really, really. I don't know why he doesn't do as much stuff.
I saved Latin. What'd you ever do? It's the fucking greatest.
He goes, nice. What does he say? Nice. What does he say? He goes, nice scrubs guy. What did, no,
He goes,
nice pajamas guy, and he goes, these
they're
are
OR scrubs.
He goes, oh, are they?
Ed Murray chokes on his
Anyway, but Jason Schwartzman is great in this. It starts off where he has a coincidence. He sees the same African man who's a doorman 3 times in a row, and he's freaking out,
Right.
wondering why. So he goes to these existential detectives to
Yeah.
figure out why. And then from that moment on, like it's almost like the script
Oh,
was trying to
what?
be like ridiculous. Like it
Yeah,
was
and
trying,
it was. I mean,
Yeah,
it-
because it's just Dustin Hoffman and Lily Tomlin following all the characters around the
I
whole
don't even
time.
want to talk about it anymore.
It's fun in a way, but it's not. It's kind of not good. It's not good.
Yeah. And
But
it's not like any of those other movies, really. It's a
But that's actually kind of a plus. It kind of shows range on that guy's part. You
Well,
know?
I guess not for me.
But besides that,
pass the flip.
how is everything going with you?
Very well. I watched Mandy, which I made a point to watch last night because I thought you had already seen it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I was like, well, then we can talk about it. But
I
it's
apologize.
fucking great. I won't say obviously too much, but you should just see it. Nick Cage is back, baby.
He's back.
It's perfect for Nick Cage. And it's great. Between that and Hereditary, I'm kind of fucked up in the head from the last 2 weeks.
Is it that crazy?
It's a crazy, it's a cultish movie. It's got gore and, phantasm and really great, cool score by King Crimson.
Oh,
And
that's amazing.
It looks beautiful. It's really, really coolly lit and shot really nicely. And it's just a fun movie. If you know what you're getting into, you're going to have a great time.
I'll tell you why I didn't see it, because I was supposed to watch it with my friend, and my close personal friend Dan St. Germain, who's been on the show. And I went to his apartment, and he lives right across the street from his school, and they were having like a street fair. And they literally had like a truck with video games pulled up, and then a truck that must have been a DJ, because it was like blasting music, and it was like blasting music, and they were on the rides, and they were screaming and yelling, and we were like, I'm like, we can't watch this movie in the middle of the day in your apartment.
I thought you were going to be like, so we just decided to go to the fair for
Oh,
the day.
no.
We played video games.
It just doesn't.
Totally got distracted.
No. I'm just saying the noise from the fair just made it so we couldn't actually watch anything.
Totally.
But no, that would be really creepy if you were just like, hey, what's going on with a bunch of 13-year-olds at this fair? But like, hey guys,
We went on rides.
like,
got-
who are these old? Just like, who are these old bearded dudes? So I didn't see it, but I'm watching it this week with them. So next episode we'll talk about it.
Yeah, all right, cool.
We'll check it out. Anything else going on? Oh, this is another thing I wanted to talk about, which I forgot to mention to you before. Did you and Alex, did either of you see the screen test of the new Joker?
No.
Well, as you know,
I've seen images, but not the screen
I remember
test.
hearing rumors, but they've been working. Todd Phillips, who did the Hangover movies, and who did Road
He's
Trip.
involved?
He's directing.
What?
So it's a Joker prequel, a Joker history, a Joker background movie starring Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, which
Yeah.
is perfect.
Yeah.
Which is like, the fact that you got him
He's
is
already got facial scars.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. In fact, in the thing they show him with
Right,
and there's a thing that Todd Phillips put online, and it's this really creepy, like 70s sounding song in the background,
Like
and it's
it.
just what?
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
it.
Oh, it's so creepy. And if you, we'll post it on the Defend Your Movie page, and it has it just shows. At first, it's a shot of like of Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur. That's his name
Yeah.
in the movie. and it's just him like a winter jacket with kind of like almost like talk about No Country. We're gonna talk about No Country today, like Anton Chigurh type of hair. Like he has like not a bowl cut, but like longish to that length.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he has a scar on his mouth.
Like
and
the Pete Rose.
Yeah, the Pete Rose-ish, but like a little bit more messy.
Right.
And the winter jacket, and he's kind of dressed kind of creepily. He just looks like kind of like a vagabond kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like, he
drifter.
doesn't also, he looks a little bit off. Like the way he's looking in the camera is very intense and
You're
off.
getting me excited.
Yeah, and then they just the music's playing, and out of nowhere they're just projecting shots of the Joker over him. So it's the Joker, it's him as the Joker dancing. So that's just showing, like if you took a film strip and showed it over a body.
Yeah.
And it's just shining, flashing, and then finally the Joker's makeup flashes on his face, and then they show a picture. Then they show him with the actual Joker makeup on. And
All right.
everybody's
I
getting
like
mad
Joaquin Phoenix, too.
because people are getting mad online because that's where people get mad, and because it's kind of regular. If you watch it, I'll look it up. Hold on a second. It's kind of regular Joker makeup. It's
Gotcha.
It's not
Not
it's
like
not-
Heath Ledger,
not-
like Dark Knight-ish.
not Dark Knight-ish. It's not even Jared Leto-ish. where it's
Suicide
like this-
Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad-ish. It's
How
just
great,
kind of very
though.
regular clown makeup.
I really love Arthur is the perfect name.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna get Joker backstory, which we don't know. We've never had origin
And
Joker
this,
story.
Apparently, it's separate from the other movies, but it's a Joker backstory.
I'm so in.
Yeah,
I can't
I don't
wait.
want to give too much information away, but if you look online, you'll see they show the makeup, right?
I love it.
Okay, so Andy
got-
just watched the clip. It's a screen test or whatever you want to call it. He's got what?
That's more of a that's almost the '60s original Batman TV show, like Caesar. What's his name? Caesar something.
Cesar Chavez.
No, I don't think it's Caesar.
Caesar Romero.
Caesar Romero. It's kind of that makeup.
It's just regular makeup. It's like party clown makeup.
I love-
But if
I'm
you
so
add
excited.
Joaquin Phoenix in with party clown makeup, that's creepy enough.
I mean, I like Todd Phillips too as a direct. You know, I mean,
Well,
he's known
Hangover's-
mostly for his comedies, but I mean,
But the Hangover movies are directed well. They're just comedies. And his
actually-
comedies are always kind of they're dark on top of it. So
Yeah.
This will be his chance to make like a
he
dark
made a couple
movie.
dark, like he documentary guy to begin with. Remember, he made that fraternity movie where he like went undercover.
That's
And,
right.
like it's called Hazing or something. That was like his first break, and then he actually made a documentary about the band Fish, which is great.
Oh,
it's really
what's it
good.
called again? You remember?
It's called Bittersweet Motel. Yeah, it's really good.
Really good.
Yeah.
So that
do you remember that scene where Trey is getting hit on by the groupie?
Yeah, it's
and
a
he's in the
famous
golf
scene.
cart? It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. That
She's
And
scene.
what
like,
happens?
you don't remember Arizona?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry.
He's like-
She's
and then he's like-
well, you know. She's like, I know you know. You know.
Yeah,
I know you
and
know.
he's
He's
like,
like,
what are you doing?
I'm sorry.
He's
I
like,
gotta
what are you
go.
doing right now?
He's like driving around in a golf cart backstage. Yeah, she's like, okay, I get it, but you know. Like, you know I know, and I know you know. He's like,
Oh my
"Ah,
God,
I'm
that's
sorry. I gotta
psychotic.
go
I've
sound
watched
check.
it like the Zapruder film. It's so good.
Yeah.
because that's such a telling little. That's a little telling thing.
He doesn't say a thing.
Like he like. So do you? Wait, is the implication that he does know, or he's
I'm
playing
sure
it
he
off for the
fucked her,
camera?
but like, you
But
know.
the implication is that he really doesn't remember, and she's saying you remember because she doesn't want to
No,
feel
he
bad.
just doesn't say anything. I think he just is like, I'm not giving in one way or the other.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so I was wondering, you can take that two different ways. You can take that as he knew the cameras were there, so did he want to be like, yeah, I fucked
Right,
you,
right.
and come off like a monster?
Correct.
Not a monster, just come off like
Hey.
a real coos. Or he really didn't
Yeah.
remember and was trying to be polite.
I would have to say the former, if anything.
Okay. See, because as you're describing it, and as that, also
He plays his poker face very well, though. Like
Really?
he doesn't give in one way or the other.
So she was right. She's like, I know you know,
I think so,
and
but
he's
then
like, yeah, I
again,
know.
you're like, oh, she's also a little crazy. So who
Right,
knows?
right. That's what you wonder. Well,
Groupies, man.
Group. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you've had groupies. I don't think you've ever had.
I know. I don't know why I said it was like my everyday problem.
Yeah.
Fucking groupies, bro.
Walking around for Andy is just
Beating them off like the Beatles.
Did you see that thing about the Beatles really quickly, where they talked about how Paul and John they admitted that they jerked off in front of each other? I'm like, Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah.
Why is that such a big deal? Why are we becoming such a prudish society?
That also came out years ago. I knew about that.
Oh, really?
Oh, I didn't know
Years
about
ago.
that.
It was in like all these biographies and everything.
But also, first off, that's like when Elon Musk smoked the joint or the blunt on Joe Rogan. Who cares?
Yeah, no
Who
one gives a shit.
cares? Nobody cares. And also, it's like all this young media that's like Vice was like, can you believe it? Yeah, I can. Yeah,
Totally.
I totally can. Okay, should we get to the debate
Yeah,
part of
let's
the
get
festivities
to her.
here? Okay.
Do it to it.
Today,
Mountain Dew.
we have a biggie today. It's,
2 heavyweights.
This is like, one of them's in my top 5. So, it's really a big one. We're doing There Will Be Blood versus No Country for Old Men. Whoa! Just a sad off.
Just a
just a
this
depressing.
This is an old school bare knuckle boxing match. Just fucking take off the glove.
This is the verbal equivalent of that last scene in There Will Be Blood where he just beats him up. That's one of the good. I'll start off with helping you out. That's one of the best scenes ever.
He is so good.
I think. Okay, I don't know how to get this started.
Same year, 2007.
Same year. Also, people know. A lot of people know this now, so I don't think I'm really blowing anybody's mind by this. But when I heard this, it was interesting. They used to bump into each other during filming.
Oh no shit!
They were filming in the same parts of like
Coens are the directors or the actors or everybody?
The productions.
Oh, the production. Yeah.
Like literally, they would bump into. Like even I think
Sir,
they even like
that's our
film
craft
part
table.
of right. Like, even film part of the other production going on.
Wow.
And having
no
to
shit. I didn't know that.
I think that's what was going on.
great.
Yeah, because they both movies have similar looks to them.
Similar looks, both based on novels of the same ilk.
Yeah.
Cormac McCarthy is
Yeah.
obviously much later
Well
than Sinclair
known,
Lewis.
Yeah.
But yeah, both based on novels. Both really
extraordinarily acted movies. Like
Yes.
really, where like you could put them up as 2 of the best acted movies ever.
Absolutely.
Like it just you're dealing with like if you want to talk about the top. What you're dealing with is in this any movie that you talk about like when you're dealing with the top of what Hollywood makes as far as like we were talking about this last week as far as the artistry of movie making goes, these 2 should pop into your head.
Yeah.
Especially to be made so far down the road, 2008, I believe, right?
2007.
2007, sorry. 2007, to have this come out, like these are to have legendary classic movies like these come out is a big deal. Like you could have kind of resigned yourself and been like, everything's been done before, every trick's been done before.
Yep.
Yeah. But having now, you're like, wow, it almost gives you faith in like the movie making business to make like classic movies again.
Yeah, these are films.
These are
these
full-on
are
films.
beautiful. These are art.
Yeah, yeah, and it has two of my, you want to, it's like 2 of your favorite of everything. 2 of your favorite directors, 2 of your favorite actors, 2 of your, it's like
real tough battle here.
A really, really tough battle. So I think we're going to have to, and a lot of people, most people have seen these.
Yes.
There Will Be Blood, I would guess, hasn't been seen as much as No Country for Old Men. I think it was a bigger release when it came out. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
I was going to say,
no, they were both nominated. So
yeah, they were both award winners.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. I'm fighting for There Will Be Blood. We should state that.
Yeah.
You're taking No Country.
I'm taking No Country for Old Men because No Country for
Like you said.
Old Men is literally in my top 3. We on this podcast we've talked about we had a whole episode devoted to the Coen Brothers, and we discussed how Fargo is their best movie, but I personally
No Country is good.
No Country. It just, as far as like, I don't know, I forget what parameters we were going by. Like, the parameters you're going by, if you're going by like traditional movies, with Fargo is almost like a perfect movie. Like, because you can, there's arguments you can make about No Country for Old Men. But I, like, just the feeling that No Country for Old Men gave me, I'm like, oh,
I get that.
This is top notch. This is unbelievable how good this is. Like, the quality of this, and how badass it is, how good the acting is, how good the writing is, how good the tension is. To me, that's what does it. Like, when I watch him, to give you an idea,
I'm like, There Will Be Blood has all those things.
It does have all those things, but when I watch a movie, the amount of like non-voluntary emotion that it triggers in me, is my my marker on
Yeah,
if it's a good
it's a
movie.
good gauge.
So one of the things I was talking to my roommate about the other day was they're showing. Actually, I want to go. We should go.
Okay.
I want to go see Rear Window is going to be playing.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Right. Rear Window is one of those moments for me where I never saw it before. I'm on my grandmother's couch when I was like 16. I'm watching Rear Window, and yes, it's an old 60s thriller style movie.
Yeah.
But just the way, because of how this guy shot it and directed it and made it,
Hitchcock, yeah.
it gets the suspense. You feel the
Totally.
suspense. And I was like an idiot teenager who was like into like goofy Dumb and Dumber type stuff.
Yeah.
But you're watching that and you're like, wow, it's such a great moment when you go and when you realize after the fact that a director pulled off what it wanted to pull off. For
sure.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
Like Hitchcock was known for inventing all these techniques that are used to this day. So when you're a movie, when you're a viewer and you're watching it and you're going and you're feeling it in the pit of your stomach and you're like, that was what his goal was. I'm so it gets me more excited about movies.
I'll say this. I think building off that, that's why I love the first whatever it is of There Will Be Blood. There's no sound. I mean, there's no speaking roles until about 15 minutes in. No one says a word.
Yeah.
And that almost builds up more suspense than anything else.
Yeah.
I want to make points for both movies because I love both of them.
Because I want to comment on this, but it's a positive way. But yeah.
But yeah, I think cinematography-wise, I think There Will Be Blood's a little prettier to look at. I know they're both sprawling movies. It did win Best Cinematography that year. It won the Oscar for Best Cinematography. I'll say that. So it's got that award going for it.
There Will Be Blood did?
Yes.
Oh, it did? Okay. So there you go. That's point number one.
Well, okay. Point number two, Daniel Day-Lewis is a great villain as well. He's the protagonist, yes, but he's also a villain.
Yeah.
And he won Best Actor that year.
Yeah, true.
And I don't know, I'm sure Brolin should have been up for it, or even maybe Tommy Lee Jones. I don't know if they maybe if Tommy Lee Jones was supporting.
Tommy Lee Jones, I don't think he was the one of the cool things about, to go back at it, one of the cool things about No Country for Old Men is that after, it's one of those things, and both movies are like this, but with No Country for Old Men, you gotta love movies you can revisit, and you can revisit the shit out of No Country for Old Men. Like one of the main glaring things that right in your face is that the main character isn't Josh Brolin. So there's spoilers ahead.
Sure.
Josh Brolin gets killed in the middle.
Time.
It's been enough time. But I just to give you a warning. Josh Brolin gets murdered in the middle of this movie.
Three quarters,
whatever it is.
It's
but before the end.
But it does do that thing where you're like, he just kind of calls his wife and he's like, yeah, I got a good feeling we'll be, and then you don't expect his murder coming.
No.
It's just like the next scene, you see the Mexicans drive away.
Yeah.
And then it's Tommy Lee Jones's character.
And also another great way when we talk about suspense, to raise the suspenses, they don't show they don't have the showdown between the Mexicans and Josh Brolin. They just show his dead body.
Yeah, they don't show any of the showdowns, like the standoff in the beginning.
Yeah.
Of the drug deal gone wrong.
And it's I love that technique because what it's doing
it's great. Cohen's. God, it's a tough one.
It's leaving it up to your imagination.
Yeah.
And I think maybe you get me on scenery as far as There Will Be Blood, but cinematography is one of my favorite things about the Coen brothers because they
Agreed,
can take
100%.
the most,
I give you that one 100%.
This isn't a mundane place.
I'm
This is
arguing
Texas.
against the Coens.
This isn't a mundane place. They took Texas and they made it look beautiful.
West Texas.
But they can take whatever and they can make it like you look at Barton Fink. They took now granted it was a stylized old 40s style hotel.
Sure.
But they make everything about that thing look, just the angles. It's almost like to me that Coen brothers find new angles. Like they're finding these angles that you're watching and even if it's straightforward, just because for whatever they're doing, they're making it look more interesting to me, and they're making it look more stylized than other people.
Yeah, I agree.
They could just be pointing a camera at something, but whatever eye they have whatever they're doing is making it. It's moving the story along. It's making it more
I'll give you that it does move this. It has more to the story than what Paul Thomas Anderson does in There Will Be Blood. I think it's just a prettier to look at rather than moving the plot or doing anything like that. Yeah, the Coens, and I'm sure Paul Thomas Anderson to an extent, but the Coens, every single frame of every single shot means something.
Right.
Like,
right.
I think the characters speak for themselves more. The characters carry the story in There Will Be Blood more, I think, than No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men, like you said, it's not just based, or you don't just concentrate on one. You kind of concentrate on three people. You concentrate on Anton Chigurh, Llewellyn Moss, and Ed Tom Bell.
But I think the main person in the story, the whole point of the story of No Country for Old Men, because apparently what it is, because even if No Country for Old Men gets shit on for its ending. Some people love it, some people hate it.
I don't mind
it. Just ends out of nowhere with him just telling that story. But the story is supposed to be...
They're two dreams.
Symbolic for the whole... Yeah.
Well, the first dream is him, and both involve his father. And the first one's very quick. It's about him meeting his father downtown and giving him some money, and he loses the money.
Yeah.
And then the second one him and his father were both old time. It was like taking place in older times, and about his father riding ahead and starting a fire so that when they got there, and it's like that comfort. To me, the way I interpret it was like that feeling you get about your father when you're like, hey, yeah, my dad will always like do the things for his family. For me, I don't have to worry about it. He already wrote ahead and is gonna have everything ready for when I get there.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not that smart enough to know what that has to do with the rest of the movie, but I understand the basic tenets of
the whole idea.
Tom just being like, I'm overmatched of society and what's going on today.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I think that was the point.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
I think it was the point of evil was encroaching.
I don't know how those dreams tie into that, but
what you could interpret it as right now, as we're talking about it, you can he had his dad to set things up for him. He doesn't have that anymore. So the idea of being overwhelmed by the idea of evil taking over, like Anton Chigurh is pure evil.
Pure evil.
That's what I think the whole idea is, and the level of evil has been stepped up from when his dad was around.
Right.
So he doesn't know what to do because he doesn't have that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that's probably well, there is. On the other side, you have There Will Be Blood, who Daniel Plainview adopts this son, does do everything seemingly for his child, but is still a super shitty father because once the child has an accident, again, spoilers, he goes deaf, and he sends him off to a school for the deaf, but it seems to the child like it's a complete abandonment by the only kind of family he's ever known, because obviously from the beginning, the guy, his real father gets killed while they're mining for oil.
Right.
And so Daniel adopts this kid, raises him as his own, gives him every, he's a oil tycoon. So they're very well off, but then the accident happens, and the kid always holds it against him. Like when the kid gets back, which is a great scene, he runs up to Daniel and just starts pounding him on his chest. And Daniel just kind of lets him do it.
Yeah,
he's like, I get it, but I'm trying to do this for you. But I mean,
it's this weird contentious relationship.
Yeah, but it is a similar father-son narrative almost.
Well, the whole he finds the kid.
Yeah. As a child, infant,
and takes care of him, but also doesn't take care of him at the same time.
Yeah,
like it's almost like he's taking care of him and ignoring him at the same time.
Absolutely, and you see that throughout the movie. Even when he comes to his father, when he's grown up and he's married, he goes, "I want to start my own company." And Daniel just goes, well, now you're a competitor. He's like, you'll be my competition.
Well, I think the whole thing, there's so many different levels working when it comes to There Will Be Blood. There's what it's also showing is that the son grew up, the dad didn't, and he just went crazier and crazier as he got older.
Yeah.
So then he just was his ambition is what kind of screwed him in the end. So he was just building him, like showing him in that big house, and showing all that hard work you did was just so you can create your own prisons for you to be alone.
Right.
And all the idea that you don't want to deal with people and all this, and then finally the one person left that loves you shows up, and you turn your back.
Does he love him?
Oh no! I'm sorry, no, because the son shows up first.
Yeah.
The son shows up and says, "I'm getting married. I'm moving." He's like, "You're a competitor now. Get away from me."
Yeah.
So he cuts off all ties, and then the phony priest. That's another greatly acted. Like what a greatly
Paul Dano.
Paul Dano. Like.
Just the phony, the phony prophet thing.
Pussy, basically, phony prophet. That's what it was supposed to be. And that's where the side of the movie you're on Day-Lewis's side, because you're like, oh, he sees through all this bullshit.
Yeah,
all
he's
this
just
stuff
doing
going
this
on.
so he can drill.
Yeah,
He's just like, he gets baptized.
yeah,
just
yeah.
so he can-
just so he can drill.
Um,
But you're watching it, and you're watching it as what are you supposed to take from that relationship?
He's the
Like-
Tony Soprano. He's the anti-hero, but you still root for him, even though he's a bad guy. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. I brought up a thing from ScreenPrism.com that
Mm-hmm.
kind of gives us, to go back to the Coen Brothers movie for a second. So what you have Sheriff Bell tells his wife about his dreams, and then we abruptly cut to black. That's the ending
Yeah.
of No Country for Old Men. So what gives? After focusing so much on Moss escaping Chigger, does it really make sense for the story to leave the audience with a seemingly peripheral character's enigmatic breakfast conversation? Yes, because the final scene gives us a window into the movie's deeper meaning and the Coens' pessimistic worldview. Bell is identified as one of the old men of the title, and we get a glimpse into why there's no country for them anymore. Waking up, he struggles to face the actual world of chaos and randomness, and so he's lost. The Coens use the dreams to show Bell mourning the descent. The Coens use the dreams to show Bell mourning the descent lawful world he believes in, which probably never even existed, but has been an illusion or a dream all along. That kind of gives you an idea.
Yeah,
So that's what it's kind of what I was saying, like the evil taking over, and it's even if it never existed. Even if the evil world it always existed the same way, it didn't exist to him the same way. So did you hear what the screenplay?
I heard, and
that's kind of what I was trying to say.
I agree. He does acknowledge that in the beginning too, when he's talking about how a lot of the older lawmen didn't even wear guns, and he doesn't even for some of the movie.
He doesn't wear a gun.
Yeah, when he's going and looking at the crime scene with his deputy, younger guy, who is who's a great actor actually. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he doesn't wear like a side piece, and that's, I'm pretty sure, referenced in the beginning. You can see right from the beginning of the film when he is longing for those days.
Yeah.
So
he's longing for the days
that always made sense to me.
when things were simpler, and that's an ongoing.
And it takes place in 1980 too, so it's not like
Yeah, right.
know.
And that's an ongoing battle I think you have. I think the older you get, I think it's happening right now. Like everybody has the whole idea of like, why couldn't it be simpler from when I was younger and stuff like that.
I
It's
think
like,
everybody just goes through that.
And then you can make the argument. It's like it wasn't simpler. You just kind of ignored a lot of stuff.
That's just what you were familiar with.
You were familiar
That's
with
what
it.
you know first and foremost.
And like people say, like I'm not going to get political, but I'm saying people want it to be like back in the day, and it's like, well, for a lot of people, back in the day, it wasn't great. It was great for you, maybe, but it wasn't
simple
great.
on the basis of actual word simpler. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So that's kind of what they're saying here in this explanation.
Even when he goes up to Rio or wherever they go, and he sits with that other older sheriff, and they're sitting at the diner, and they're just both like aghast. There's, he's like, I think it all ended when people start losing the word sir and ma'am.
Yeah,
they're both just like kids these days. Not like that, but
yeah. And so the whole idea is like, the movie's being made with an air of like that the audience is supposed to know. No, that was never the
I don't
case.
think so, but
no, that's what they're saying. Well, that's what
I
this guy's.
disagree.
You disagree? You think that the point they're trying to make in the movie is the actual real point? Like things.
Yeah,
there is a decline. There is a worse.
Absolutely.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
And but I also think it's your own personal worldview. So like I do agree with Tom. If you put yourself in his perspective, he's this new evil is Anton Chigurh. He's a guy who goes around with a cattle air gun,
right?
To just fucking and flips a coin to decide people's fate,
right.
Sometimes,
which is
also, crazy.
To get to when we talk about iconic scenes, like we have both movies have iconic scenes, but whoo boy, the scene where he goes into the gas, he gets gas, and then goes in and he harasses the old guy who runs that.
There's also a very funny comic relief part in that scene, though.
Oh, it's really it's funny. That's why it's so great, because it's funny and it's twisted at the same time.
Super tense.
There's so much tension in that scene. They're like that's what I love about these guys. Like think about how hard it is to do that. Like to create original, like genuine
They're
tension.
Brilliant writers.
By writing, just that's two guys in a
And,
gas
yeah.
station. That's insane. And also, it's not like it's so great because it's not beating you over the head where he's like, I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker. Like, it's not like that where you're like, he might get
he's
hit.
cat and mousing him the whole time.
Oh, it's fantastic.
He's asking that poor old guy. He goes,
"What
you
do
from here?" He goes, "Sure." What time you close? Dark. And then he's getting the guy nervous. He's like, "You always own this place?" And he goes, "It's my wife's father's place." Where he goes, "You married into it?" He almost laughs at him.
Yeah.
Married into it, which is a really funny line.
Yeah,
if
right.
you think about
it totally is, but it's like it's dark. The whole thing's dark. The whole thing, you're
Yeah.
like, because it's the unknowing. I think that is almost a theme in this entire movie because we just mentioned it. The unknowing, not knowing what happened, not knowing what happened to Josh Brolin in that motel when he gets killed,
Yeah.
not knowing what happened with the Mexican standoff. You can assume, and then you kind of get the idea. It's like, yeah, there was a meetup and it went bad, and I guess you don't need to know the details,
God damn it.
but you still don't know. So it plays into that human emotion of like I feel like everybody loves gossip. You love knowing all the details of everything. You want to know all the information. So even if it's on a small scale, it's like at the beginning, the set piece of a movie. It's like you still are like, hey, anything could have happened. So at any point in that movie, something from that you didn't know could sneak up and bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
So and that part, like the questions he keeps asking him, and he's like, well, what am I calling? There's still that unknown, like, and then you can put yourself in the old man's shoes because you're like, oh my God, this is how I would react because you're not quite
Totally.
sure if
He's
he's
just kind of
kidding.
bullying the guy.
He's bullying the guy, but
And then he
it's,
wins the coin toss, and he's like, "That's yes."
yeah,
Hold on.
and also you know the guy's behavior, so you know more than what the guy at the gas station, the guy who owns the gas station, you know more than him.
Right,
you know
right.
this might end in your death, and you're an innocent old man, and you don't know this. You
Yeah.
know, like so. That's what that line runs throughout the entire. That's almost like one long line of tension the entire movie.
Right.
And that I would say that is a plus on my side where. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. I think There Will Be Blood, it kind of breaks it down. You have moments of where it's not that. You have moments of just straight up storytelling.
Yeah, you get
But
a
I
little
think-
more closure. He just fucking kills Paul Dano in the end with the bowling pin.
Oh, it's great.
And after he makes him renounce, he makes him admit that he's a phony pride. I mean, that's kind of a tough scene to watch because he really talk about bullying.
Yeah.
I mean, bullies the fuck out of him just to admit it. You're here just for my money.
Yeah.
You're not a prophet at
Yeah.
all, and then he kills him, which is great. I love that about it.
Well, that's one of
he
the great-
makes him. It's like it's big on like the Catholicism aspect. Is like you recant on your deathbed. This guy makes him actually go the opposite and yeah, I've just been in it for the money at all, and then he kills him.
Yeah,
It's so
that's a
great.
good point. Yeah. Well, it's also one of the greatest one of the greatest lines ever is the last. Doesn't he say, "I'm finished"?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm finished.
I'm finished. Or I'm done. Or whatever.
And then both great endings. God, you might have taken me. It's hard, really, really hard to fucking argue against No Country, but I do love There Will Be Blood, and again, like you said, I'm sure you love it too.
I think
It's
if we
not
go down the line, I think as far as like,
I-
they go pound for pound every subject. Directors, it's like, for
Well,
me,
for
I
me,
guess
is the Coens.
So okay, so I win on that one for
Yeah,
you.
you're gonna win. You're gonna win this one.
I
It
think
did win Best Picture. Actually, they're
won
both
Best
nominated.
Picture.
No Country won. Daniel Day-Lewis won Best Acting. It won Best Cinematography. No Country won Best Adapted Screenplay. So you've got that from the book, Cormac McCarthy book.
Yeah. And what is Alex Spencer? Hold on. a
Oh,
second.
quickly, who's the more iconic character? Was it
Anton
Anton
Chigurh
Chigurh or
or-
Daniel Plainview?
Anton. I think
Yeah, it's
Anton
probably
Chigurh.
Anton
I think
Chigurh.
it's a more. It's just such a more interesting character. Like to be honest, it's like
You just never saw a villain kind of like that before.
I love the idea of Plainview being like a Tony Soprano, where you love to hate him.
Yeah.
But to me, like Tony Soprano, you get to spend enough time with him where you love to hate him. Plainview, you're kind of confused by why am I rooting for him at the end? Like, but then you're going back and forth because that last scene, you're glad.
A lot of it is, I think, he's just so strong. Daniel Day-Lewis, he makes the character.
Yeah. If somebody else, who else? Let's nobody.
Recast it. I don't know.
Because it kind of adds so many levels to the character by him doing it.
Yeah.
Like just for him being him.
You know, he went method and
Oh yeah, he went hardcore method. He was probably hit somebody else with a bowling
some
pin.
orphan owned by the studio.
But I think if you go down the line, for me, directors, No Country wins. Even though
Correct.
Paul Thomas,
Yeah,
I love.
I love Paul, but not.
But the thing with Paul is this: Paul Thomas. I'll say this: what he's amazing at is casting. He's amazing at
Yeah.
shooting movies. Don't get me wrong. Like the shots that he had, the William H. Macy shot in Boogie Nights is one of my favorite things in the world.
That-
As Do Your Thing
speaking
is
of
playing,
acting.
Archie Bell and the Drills is playing in the background, and he goes in, sees his wife cheating on him, and then he goes and blows his brains out.
The small, subtle look of a smile and kind of a realization right before he shoots himself
Yep.
is fucking brilliant.
That I think stays on
my
his
God.
face. I think they show his shot face, his shot head, and he still has the face
I can't
on.
describe it.
It's great.
I've tried to do it. I've sat around my house and tried.
Yeah,
you're brilliant.
He is great, but what happens is I think things can get away from Paul Thomas a little bit.
Agreed.
I think that
Yeah, no, you're not wrong because There Will Be Blood is almost. I think it's 158 minutes. It's a lot longer. It's well over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Whereas I think No Country clocks in right under 2 hours. 'Cause the Coens, if for anything, know when they're done.
when they're done, I think there's a more succinct, more A, B to C type filmmaking when it comes to the Coens. I think when it comes to Paul Thomas, I think it's one of those things where he gets closer to a David Lynch. Where
Sure.
you're like, oh shit, I have to know what's in fucking Paul Thomas's head for part of this. You know what I mean? Like where it's more things are more symbolic.
All right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where
I'm just coming to the realization that
this might sound like I'm just blowing smoke, but not blowing smoke, but like I'm just talking out of my ass. But like, when I look at Coens, I'm like the movies, I'm like and then the films are, like they're more tethered to the ground. Paul Thomas, I'm like, this is a really great thing to watch.
But it's sprawling.
But I still feel hungry after. I still feel like I want more.
All right.
Do you know what I mean? With Coens,
God
I'm like,
damn it, you won.
do you know what I mean? Though, does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense.
And
I
to me,
know
that's a
it's-
better filmmaker. If you're finishing the project,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
People do complain about the No Country ending, but I don't know. To me, it wraps up perfectly.
I think it wraps up nicely.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
what
yeah.
more do you? Yeah, you're.
I
I'm
think
good.
the whole idea is like, yeah, Anton Chigurh, he got away.
Killed the wife.
That's
you know, he killed
realistic.
Kelly MacDonald, underrated performance in that too.
Oh, absolutely, she's great. Also, her scene, before
Great.
she dies,
her and her one-on-one.
is great. It's just people being confronted with death
It's
left
just
and right.
you. It's not the coin. You know?
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
And
It shows her. Yeah.
also the book. I didn't even read the book. That's
I
the
never read
book's
it.
ending.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm almost positive that's the book's ending. That's another reason I like it, because they did it and still got all these accolades for doing the book's ending.
Yeah, yeah.
And didn't compromise into, because I think There Will Be Blood it's based on oil, right? The Sinclair
Yeah,
Lewis.
based on
but
oil.
it's not 100% oil. Like it's not 100% the book, right?
I would assume.
Not that it has to be, but I love the fact when you have a world out there and people talk about movies, they go 9 times out of 10 people go, the book's better than the movie.
Yeah.
The book's better than the movie.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, you want one that's like really stays true to the book, and then there you have it with
Right.
No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's my point for defending that side of it, where it's like they stayed true to what the author wanted. You know, you would think you don't have his. I don't have his. I had never looked at his opinion on it, but I can imagine he'd be disappointed.
I think
in
it
this.
was the thing you don't realize about No Country for Old Men is the book was only written, I think, in 2005. It wasn't that old.
Oh no, it wasn't that old of a book. Yeah,
Yeah, and then they really turned it around quickly. But
and also that guy's writing lends itself.
Oh, yeah,
to be in
totally.
movies because they had The Road.
The Road.
They had a couple other ones, right?
I like The Road. I read, and I did read The Road too. But I've watched both very recently, and you've done a good job. You've pulled me over. I will relent on this one. You win. It's hard for me to say, but not hard for me to say because I love both. But No Country edges it out. It's a better movie.
It was like the Oscars were right.
I
in
think
this.
that in the Oscars too, it was like, well, it's one or the other. It's just like the other nominees. It's just like, yeah, thanks for showing up.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you don't
yeah,
have-
yeah. It was
It's
just
one
like-
of these two.
Yeah, that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with Mike Tyson in his prime. It's like two Mike Tysons going in his prime going against each other.
I will say this right off the bat: when I first saw them both in the theater, I liked There Will Be Blood a little better coming out of the theater.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I did.
Over time, and now talking about it.
Just that Coen, there's a Coen Brothers feel. There's also a
I
Paul
know.
Thomas feel, but like Paul Thomas can, there's a Coen Brothers feel to a movie where and the writing and
you're
the
just
movie.
excited for Coens.
You're just excited for a Coen's movie. Like I get more excited for No Country
Whereas
than I
don't
do.
even think I've seen Inherent Vice. You know, where you're just like, yeah, it's Paul Thomas Anderson, but all right, I think I could skip it, or I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah,
You know?
and
with the
also-
Coens, I'm always like, all right, I gotta go.
And we talked about it before. The Coen's track record is like really, really well done.
Yeah, pretty,
like
yeah.
They on average they deliver something that's real quality.
Or on repeated viewings, you go, oh, now I see. I didn't get it at first, and now I fucking love it. Like Burn After Reading.
Yeah.
After a few times, you're like, oh, it's great.
But if you watch The Master, like I watched The Master, I saw.
I like The
same
Master a lot.
The Master kind of exemplifies what I'm talking about, like tethered to the ground. The Master to me is not a done movie. It's not done.
Agreed.
It's one of those movies that I'm like, it has maybe the best acting I've ever seen in a fucking movie. That and Magnolia, like that's why that guy's so good. He nails casting. He just finds these parts in people or writes it for them, whatever it is. It's like that's his strength. And he's also an amazing director. But as far as things being done, and you're like, oh my god, I'm satisfied. Like I'm totally fine. Like I don't know what way to put it. Like when it comes to Coen Brothers, after I watch Coen Brothers, most of them I'm like, yeah, that was an experience in itself.
Yeah.
It's encapsulated. It's done. I'm good. I'm good to go. With the There Will Be Blood, or when it comes to The Master, you watch it, you're like, something's missing. Something could have been done better with his. For me personally, like to
I don't
really,
get that
really make
feeling
me
for
love
There
it.
Will Be Blood, but definitely for The Master.
The Master, I get that feeling, and also There Will Be Blood
But I
has
do
it
like The
less.
Master a lot.
There Will Be Blood has it less for me, but it still has it for me.
All right.
Where it has that we kind of. It's just almost like a bunch of little vignettes.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So I think I win for the day.
You win for the
and
day.
we conceded.
I do concede.
I think
Really tough
We can
battle.
go over the other topics. We can go back to this at some point. Like,
write in. Tell us what you think.
There is no point to us going down the cast because both have such great casts. Like, but like you have just think of the acting. It's also. For a Coen Brothers movie to contend with acting with a Paul Thomas movie is a big deal, because if you like, I think the acting is probably as a
You're not
whole,
going to beat Daniel Day. I mean,
we're not going to beat Daniel Day, but as far as a whole goes,
that really brought Josh Brolin, I think, truly back from being the kid, the
kid
older brother from Goonies.
Yes,
you know?
oh, absolutely.
And,
well, apparently
not an easy role.
He wasn't even doing like acting stuff. He was like he invented a program with his buddies, and that's how he was making money.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then now he's back in it, and he's great.
I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is one for the ages, really just perfectly made for that role.
Yeah, and it's also the best thing you could see. It's not to interrupt you, sorry, but you could see Tommy Lee Jones. Like you're like, oh, Tommy Lee Jones might be. This could be what he's going through now in his life. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're watching it like that's when it's always a good thing.
Doesn't really fucking age though, does he? He looks
No.
exactly the same in The Fugitive as he does in fucking No Country.
I know. I was talking to my mom
Boy,
today.
he plays a good cop.
I was talking to my mom today, and I go, "Oh, we're doing these two movies." And, I go. She goes, "Oh, those are all young people movies. You know the people in there." I go, "No, Tommy Lee Jones." She goes, "Yeah, but he's like 40 something." I go, "He's 40 something. He's like my dad's age."
70s.
He
by
is.
now, yeah.
He is. He's like 70 something, 72 or whatever. Anyway. Thank you for listening to this episode of Defend Your Movie. I think we know. Alex, who do you think? Did you say I love you?
No, I said live show.
Oh, shoot, live show. Oh, sorry. Alex,
But I
do you want to, who do you think won on that one?
I mean, we obviously know the clear winner is No Country for Old Men, but I would disagree with both of you
Really?
because I just think
Like,
that
I was a Chocolat man that year.
You beat me to it. No, I just think the atmosphere, and it's like a masterful director working at the peak of his powers, I think, and There Will Be Blood. And I think you could say...
Boogie
you
Nights.
could make Boogie Nights. You can make that. That's when he did that.
yeah, but this is where he
Well,
really gets, like,
The
the
directing
atmosphere
part
of that movie.
He grew up as a director.
Yeah,
with this
he grew
movie.
up. Yeah.
Because The Master's kind of shot very similar to this. Boogie
Right.
Nights kind of has more of a. I'm not gonna say, but
They're
like, it's almost
similarly.
like
I mean, no music, no score in No Country.
That's the other thing, too. The score
score
in
for
There
Old
Will Be
Men.
Blood is so...
No Country for Old Men, no music.
There's
How do you
one
make
little 30-second, like right when Ed Tom's walking up, going back to the scene, you can hear a slight score. That's it. That's
Really?
it. Yeah.
I thought it was no music at all.
It's 20 seconds long.
But you can say having no music is really badass to me.
Badass.
But having Johnny Greenwood do your score,
Yeah.
That score is one of the best.
that's one of the
of
best.
all
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
And if you see it performed live with
Think
an
about
orchestra,
how
Yes,
boring. Think
you
about
can.
how boring some movie scores can be, and then think about how badass that movie score
Yeah.
is. So that's a good point too. But I think it does edge it out. It just edges it out.
it
Like,
edges it
you know,
out.
it edges
But
it
it's
out.
they're both great.
And it's also so remarkable they were both made in the same year. It was like this weird kismet, meant to be kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, live show, October
17th.
What time?
8:30 p.m. Fat Black Pussycat at the Comedy Cellar. Tickets are on sale at comedycellar.com right now. Go
Yes.
make your reservations.
You just make your reservation now. Bring your
Please
friends.
do. And it only holds a few, 60, 75 people, so it's going to fill up.
Yes.
So please get on it. And, write in. Let us know what you don't like. Let us know what you like. If you got a movie suggestion for a Defend Your Movie, follow us at Defend Your Movie on Twitter. And
what are you on Twitter?
I'm at Andy Fiore on Twitter. You can come see me this weekend. I'll be at Fenway Park rooting on my Yanks.
Very
The Boston Red
nice.
Sox.
You get beat
I
up.
took one night off. I'm at Governor's. I'm headlining the Little Room on Friday, the 28th of September. So if you're in the Long Island area, there's 2 shows, 8 sold out, but 10:30. Come and say hi. We'll talk movies.
And I am at Shawnee Time on Twitter and Instagram. This weekend I'm in Jersey. I'm at the Valley Forge Casino? Whatever.
That's Pennsylvania.
I mean Pennsylvania.
I was
I'm in
just
Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's where I am. So I'm there this
Good room.
weekend. I'm with my friend James Mattern.
Oh,
And Soul
Joel. I was there with Danny
Mass
Sodes.
Transit System.
We had fun.
So it's going to be a fun weekend. Come on out. In October, I also have some dates. I'm going to be in San Antonio, and I have a bunch of random shows. So yeah, look us up on Instagram and Twitter, and also email us, defendyourmovie@gmail.com. We are on Showbiz Studios with our friend Alex. They have a iTunes page as well as a YouTube page, so check out all the great things that Showbiz Studios has to offer at showbizstudios.com. We will see you next week, and we love you very much. Bye-bye.